We started off by putting a £5 a week, and when we was able to get, we heard about this place, and we went for it. And when we found out what it was going to cost us, the other ones that could afford it put the extra money in so we could get started. We saved quite a bit of money, mind, because we was about 3, 4, 5 months, might be 6 in my house. When there was 8 of us putting a £5 a week. You know, it was mounting up. We could afford it. This is how it's really starting and going with just the 8 of us. And as I said, we worked hard to get this done. We painted it, cleaned it out because it was a bit, what is it like? And we was like up and down a bit, and that people moan because the what should I say? The fees they reckon was too high. It was about what they didn't reckon out. We was paying, I think at the time was about £500 or £600 a month, quarter, which we were very lucky to get this, and we also get the rate, the council tax minimum as well, which is very good, which has helped us. We couldn't keep this going if it wasn't for that. And then John came along and we got talking, and I said to John, and he said, I said to him, I said, well, a lot of people moans because it's a £5 a week. He said, no, he said, you weren't selling the club. He said, and you were just selling the space for the layout, which is true. So he came along, and Joe's came along, and they both went, and now we got a structure now. If you got a layout, you pay £5.50 a week, and there's so much footage for each layout. If you had a small layout, you wouldn't pay as much. You'd pay about £5.50. But if you got one like Joe's got, a big one, something like that, I think they pay about £7.50 or something like that.
I went to an exhibition in Cheltenham, and I met a couple of guys that were exhibiting there from here, heard about their open day, came down, liked what I saw and joined. The club went through several problems a couple of years ago financially. We had a lot of electrical faults which we had to repair and pay for. And it was John and I who put together a sort of rescue package to make the club more viable. We were getting to the point where it would have gone under if it carried on the way it's going. So we had to put up the rates, we had to make it run more like a business, get us out there on the web, do leaflets and try and attract more members, because we are an industrial building, so we've got to run it as an industrial sort of club. It's not like a normal club where you just pay £1 to cover the tea and coffees. We have got overheads and bills to pay. We came up with the website. That started bringing in new members. Obviously, we go to exhibitions. John's layout, Zeitz, is a majorly good layout, so that brought us a lot of interest. Open days, generally getting out there and everybody speaking about it. The associate membership and the country membership came about basically because they do that at other clubs, like the Rotary Club, the Round Table, and it works. So people that are further away still can get an interest and don't have to be paying so much, because they do have a lot of travelling to do. So it does help us gain members from a larger sort of captive audience. So I think at the moment we've got members coming in from Hereford, from Brighton, Blackpool, Windsor, not regularly, but they're coming and they're paying on the night they come. It's just extra revenue to make the club run.
Well, my husband and I, Alan and I, went to Whalley, and we went there in December looking round, and we picked up a leaflet about the Phoenix Club, and we were looking around to find somebody who had some knowledge about model railways. Because we absolutely knew nobody at all who was interested, and we couldn't really find anybody in the Hereford area who could help us. So we picked up the leaflet and we found it looked very professional. So we thought, well, it's worthwhile coming down and have a look. So we popped along one evening and had a word with them, and they were so welcoming. And we told them that we were complete novices and had no skills at all. Me particularly. Alan has a few skills, but I have hardly any at all. But they were so willing to show us all the layouts, how things were done. So we decided to become associate members, and that enables us to come 20 times a year, paying £1 each visit.
It's memories of going on the train and going part of more or less Dawlish Sea Wall, going down and on the train looking down to see the sea, it just brings them memories back again. When I've got it running, I'm standing out the front watching it and just, I'm on there, I'm going past the seaside again and the people are on the wall waving to you. Just brings childhood memories back, because I'm still a child. Even I'm 51, but I'm still a child. I'm playing trains. Expert modelers, they plan what they want to do, but me, I'd done the seafront as I wanted it, see it in my head, and as I work my way round, I just see what I want and go ahead and do it. But I have to ask Sarah for the greens because I'm coloured blind, so I can't tell the different shades of greens and browns and that, so she has to show me which is what. Same as with wiring, which is red, which all that business. I got a set of maroon and Great Western coaches, and she has to tell me because sometimes I get it rain the wrong way, because I can't see, everything's black and white to me, so it is harder for me. I just got the road going up there, you normally see it. I had a couple of cocktail sticks, looked at them, thought cut the tips off, bit of plastic on the bottom, got your combs, then another one, filed it down, bit of round card, your board, stop. And then I had the workman, I just stuck them on to do a little road scene. Then I thought, bridge, rebuild, built the scaffolding out of small pieces of plastic, cut the card up, planks, and I got another scene there. And then under the tree on the front, you've got a little rabbit that pops up and down, just something for the children. And the adults, they can't get over it, seeing this little rabbit popping up and down. How does that work? That's magic.
I never had the chance when I was young to do anything like this. My father passed away when I was 5. So I wanted to do something with my son that I could enjoy myself. And we looked at lots of different modelling things to do, car racing, everything. But both of us decided on model trains. We started a layout at our house, a little digital layout, before we joined the club. And as it started progressing, we realised that we didn't have the skills. So we was at the model shop in Gloucester when one gentleman who belongs to this club suggested we come along, and it just went from there really. And since then, it's fantastic. You know, we've thoroughly enjoyed it. But I'm now hoping that my son will go on and he will learn a lot more than I could ever learn. So I thoroughly enjoy it as he gets older. Yeah, one of the things I was keen to do is find a hobby that we could both thoroughly enjoy together. We looked at lots of different hobbies, but we decided on model trains because we thought there was more advantage as you get older is learning different types of modelling, as in not just running the trains, but building buildings, wiring, etc., where you don't get that in a lot of other hobbies. So it sort of makes you more aware of how things work in life, and and hopefully gives you more practicality when you get older as you go on into working life.
Well, the whole family's been on the railway. I've always lived by a railway line. Even when I was abroad, I always lived by trains. I couldn't go to sleep unless there was trains about. So all my life, even during the war in London, we still had trains running. And they were supplying coal to the power station. Even here, moving out into the country as it was at the time, you could hear the trains down the road here. I got no option other than being the only girl surrounded with boys. I didn't like dolls anyway. I liked steam trains. We happened to see the train signs and that it was an open weekend, and that's how we came. We had our lunch and we hummed and dodged, shall we go? We were, because trains is like a magnet to me. I love my steam trains. You can't beat them. Each to their own, I know. But the atmosphere was nice. We walked around them and everything. We got down by George as if we'd been there for a long time. We went round in the others and then we went back. George took us to John to introduce us and we were invited to come down on the Saturday and we did. And we joined there and then.
Well, I've only been here about 3-4 weeks, something like that. Sort of came from another club, had a look around. And like what I saw, the problem with the other club was it was sort of like 3 flights of stairs and limited access. And here I've got a set of keys, so I can come in when I want and do what I want to my own layout. So it's just easier here. I was a bit sort of hesitant to start with, but when you sort of explain to me what they can offer, like helping you with your own layout and stuff like that, and you can help them, people with theirs and operate theirs, it sort of came rather attractive. At the club I was at, it was sort of, there's only a couple of people there, so you didn't always see them, so you're there by yourself sometimes. But here there's always someone here to help you, so and vice versa. So it's good. Yeah, I've got a layout. It's called Shield Bridge. It's a sort of Scottish region terminus off the Invergarry line, sort of fictitious line. It's sort of set sort of between 1980s and mid 90s. So you got sort of the blue period right up to EWS, stuff like that. Mostly timber traffic and a little spur off to a distillery, so you've got whiskey traffic as well. And the old passenger train, so it's interesting to operate at shows. I didn't have a lot of time because of my job, and I commissioned a guy to build it. And I basically gave him the details of how I wanted it, what I wanted it to look like and stuff like that, and he built it. A guy called Ken Gibbons, he's up at the Hull Model Railway Club, and he's a very, very helpful guy, and he's a very good modeller, and he done a lovely job on it, but I wouldn't have had time if I had to do it myself.
Mum's bedroom window when she was little used to look over the Great Northern Line, so she used to be able to see Mallard and Flying Scotsman go up and down. Also, she's got the family history that my great-grandfather was company secretary to LNER, and my great-aunt, Dr. Beeching's secretary, which we don't like to mention. So we've got the kind of the family history into it as well. When I was little, obviously I'd been into like the Thomas stories and that, and probably when I was about 8, 9, Hornby first brought out the actual Thomas the Tank Engine. So I started collecting all the Thomas stuff. And when I got the opportunity to be able to build one down here, obviously those were the locos and so on that I had, and it was just a kind of an obvious next step. Okay, you're not modelling a specific place or anything, but I'm still trying to model to the Reverend Aldridge stories, which is almost the same as a specific place, because you've got to keep in try to follow certain storylines. For example, where the cricket ball lands in one of the trucks. I don't know if you saw, but I've got a cricket ground quite near to the railway line, and you got Caroline the car that they chased Stepney in, and just trying to keep to some of the stories. I mean, obviously, I wasn't brought up in the steam era, so trying to model to something that you've not seen, to me, is the same as modelling to a book.
My layout, in fact, is a general layout. There's no particular region as such, because over the years when I've been collecting, I fancy the logo in the shop, I buy that, whether it's LMS or LNER or whatever. So the layout there, which is in the making at the moment of building, it's been actually going there for about 5 years, and it's been sort of rehashed 3 times. And again, still there are 1 or 2 faults which I got to correct. And it's diesel, steam, all regions. It's just an open layout for my own enjoyment, basically, because now I'm retired. This is my life. And some people do say to me at times, well, this is not a true colour. But then I don't go into that. What pleases me? I mean, that little loco I built, Lady Chatterley or something, whatever it is, somebody might say, well, you got a sort of funny phone sort of colour onto that. We never seen a loco of that colour. But if you look at the history, they say that particular tank loco was supplied to many collieries, and every colliery had their own shades. So what's wrong in that?
Well, the first time I actually got involved with the club it's to be 3 exhibitions ago, and I attended it as a punter, just walked through the door to see what it was all about, having seen it advertised locally. And what struck me about the place was the fact that they had something to offer that I couldn't get at another club. Conventional clubs tend to go with build-in club layouts, and groups of people obviously working on layouts that are funded by the club or such like. And here they had space to offer somebody like myself who already had a layout but nowhere to keep it. Well, the actual layout itself was actually built and designed by a gentleman who's a very good friend of mine in the German Rail Society called Dave O'Rourke. And he had got to a point where he wanted to operate something smaller, so I actually took that layout over from him, and we've maintained it and kept it running here so that it can still be used and used well for various exhibitions. The layout itself was actually originally designed and built to be operated in Germany period 3. My preference is Germany period 2, so we've made a few differences so that we can actually operate it in this different time frame and try and operate it in what they call Epoch 2, which is Germany 1923 to about 1939. So it's the equivalent to our grouping period, but in Germany by then they had actually already gone over to a national railway, the DRG, Deutsches Reichsbahngesellschaft, which is how come most things are black and red. And we can still creep in things from the Landebahn period, which is prior to Epoch 2, and brings in a lot of colours and livery changes and this sort of thing to make it a lot more interesting. Over the years, we've tried to improve the electrics a little bit because we do have problems with some of the switches that are attached to the point motors. So we've tried to refine that. Now, the signals are actually manufactured by a company called Brava from Germany. They operate using a memory wire principle. You apply a small voltage to it and the wire will expand. Rolling stock's a mixture. I did get brave and try to weather some of it because unfortunately the N-gauge Continental stock can be very expensive. It's a mixture of stock from the companies like Minitrix, Arnold, Fleischmann, Brava, but we do try and buy most of it out of outlets in Germany. We actually mail order it or buy it when we attend shows in Germany because the cost is usually pound equivalent to a euro. So we make a saving of about 30% buying directly out of Germany, which is obviously quite a lot of money. And the layout does require a lot of stock to operate. It'll function when fully laden with 16 full rakes, plus various other odds and ends to set dress the front, plus spares in case anything fails. The barge and the river scene actually does attract quite a lot of attention at exhibitions. The gentleman who designed and built the layout, Dave O'Rourke, he spent a lot of time with that. Obviously, he created the bow wave around the front of the barge, and then there's been layer after layer after layer after layer of varnish to give it the depth, and it really is quite an attractive feature. And usually at exhibitions, if you're asked to enter anything for the modelling competitions, it's usually the barge that goes in, and it has won competitions previously.
You've got, you know, like the social aspect of it. A bunch of us went over to Dortmund this time last year. You know, we'd go up to York or just on holiday to Blackpool or something. You know, most of the guys are down the pub every Saturday night. It's as much a social scene as being able to do the modelling.
I'm hoping that we'll outgrow the building and we'll have to go and find somewhere else to, you know, a lot of the local clubs are now starting to sit up and take an interest in us because we're offering something different. You know, we're not just sat there building club layouts, we're building our own layouts as well, you know. So, trying to move it forwards.
I mean, we've been running this club since 1999, and always been, it's a family affair, like nobody, okay, when you got a few members, 10, 15 different people, everybody has his own view, but the differences are there, but we can always resolve them.
It's just everybody's relaxed and contented. You've got the normal family thing, but it's just Everybody's there to help one another. It doesn't matter whether they've got a bad feeling or not. Everybody's there for one another. Somebody will shout, somebody's there to help. And it doesn't matter what it is. And some's got more specialised side of them than others. We all muck. I end up being a teammate many a time. Somebody thinks, make a cup of tea, Yvonne, you know, and that's it. I don't do one, I end up doing them all. I don't mind. And they'll do something for me.
It's an atmosphere, it's somewhere to retire. You literally can come down here of an evening and just sit and watch the TV or a video or have a drink or something like that. It is very, very sociable. People are coming and going here all the time. It is not just open on a Monday night or a Wednesday night. We're open all week. And it's very friendly, it's very sociable.
I'd be lost. I'd be lost if we didn't have this. I've made a lot of friends. I'd be lost without it. I don't know what I'd do without this because there's nowhere else. And to me, it's my baby, mainly because I was one of the ones that started it, and it's my baby. It's my world, apart from Sarah, but it's her world as well. I'd be totally lost without it because I wouldn't be able to do it at home. Being it's a new house, you know what new house is like. You can't swing a cat, so be lost without it. It's my baby. I just want it going forward.
What do you get out of model railways?
Pleasure and interest, and I'm interested in trains. I know my wife calls it rubbish, but to me it's a different thing. I enjoy it. I'll go anywhere to see steam train, because Saturday I went up to Gloucester because Gordy told us there was steam coming in, and I waited an hour and a half for that train to come in. I wouldn't move until I'd seen that train. She knew it. She went round the town. I said, the train's coming. She said, I'll be there. She said him and that. But that's me. I'd go anywhere to see a steam train.
But what about model railways?
Model railways, I enjoy. It gives me very good pleasure. When I had depression, I was really down. And anybody that's never had it don't know what you go through. You look all right, but you don't. But it's helped me bring me out of it. Because I want to do something. And as my wife often says to me now, what the hell are you doing now? Well, I'm going, you're always doing something and you get rid of it or something like that. So I just build it, try and do something with it. And that's me. It gives me pleasure.